Coming into Lightfall, I don't think most people really foresaw how good this class was going to end up being. I mean, most people were talking bad about it. I mean, I just overlooked it and thought it wasn't going to be that good, but it's generally one of my favorite classes in the entire game. Not even just for the fact that I think it's meta for endgame, but for the fact that it's just got a really fun gameplay loop. Let's get over the build here. So it's going to be on Berserker Titan, using Blade Fury, Rally Barricade, Frenzied Blade, and then Shackle Grenade. The aspects here are going to be Into the Fray and destroying a Tangle, or casting your super grants Woven Mail for nearby allies. While you have Woven Mail, your melee regeneration rate is increased. The next aspect is going to be Drinker's Lash. Activate your class ability to create a ripple, in reality, that travels forward along the ground, suspending and damaging targets it hits. And so I'm actually going to have two fragments here that are going to work in with Drinker's Lash. The first one being Thread of Continuity, Suspend, Unravel, and Sever. Effects applied to the target have increased duration. And then the next one is going to be Thread of Mind. Defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy. So with Thread of Continuity, what you're going to be doing is you're increasing the time that you suspend a target in PvE from 8 seconds to 12 seconds, which gives you more time to then take advantage of Thread of Mind, where killing enemies that are suspended will give you class ability energy back to just constantly fund this loop of just infinite suspension. The other fragments I'm going to be using is going to be Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. And then lastly, Thread of Fury. Damaging targets with a tangle grants melee energy. Onto the armor here, going to be using Abiant Leap as the exotic, which states Dranger's Lash spawns 2 additional projectiles, tracks targets more aggressively, and travels farther. And you also gain Woven Mail when suspending targets. I honestly think that might be the best part of it. Yes, it's really nice that you can just basically suspend an entire room, but the fact that you gain Woven Mail just from suspending targets is really strong, because Woven Mail is a very, very strong damage resist. Now onto the mods here. For helmet, going to be using Strand Siphon, Heavy Ammo Finder, and then also Void Siphon. For the gloves, going to be using Momentum Transfer, Focusing Strike, and Bolstering Detonation, so I can just fund a bunch of ability energy back. For chest piece here, going to be using Charged Up, Concussive Dampener, and Sniper Damage Resist. You can really change up whatever you want here if you prefer reserves, maybe more Charged Up, maybe just full damage resist, depending on whatever activity you're in. This is totally flexible, use whatever you want in your chest. For boots here, going to be using 2 Strand Weapon Surges, and then a Recuperation. The Recuperation, at least for me, adds in a little bit of that extra survivability, especially because I have like 29 recovery with this build, with how all my armor's set, so this just adds in a little bit extra of survivability to add in with all of the damage resist I have. And then lastly, for the class item, I'm going to be using Time Dilation and 2 stacks of Bomber. For stats with this class, I would say to focus on really is just Resilience. I mean, probably Recovery if you want to do that as the next. Discipline is still kind of important. I do think it is worth, but with Thread of Generation, it's not that big of a deal. Now onto the weapons here. I'm going to be using Quicksilver Storm as our auto rifle. One of generally the best ad clearing primaries in the entire game, and one of the strongest weapons in the game, because the grenade launcher mode absolutely does damage. Also going to be using Harsh Language, taking advantage of Volatile Flow in Season 20, using Repulsor Brace and Field Prep. So basically, when I proc Volatile rounds from picking up an orb, I'm going to be able to take advantage of volatile rounds. And then also on getting kills with the volatile rounds, I'm going to be getting an overshield, so you can stack that on top of Woven Mail, healing from picking up orbs, and then an overshield from Repulsor Burns. Pretty strong. And then lastly, I'm going to be using a machine gun, going to be using Circular Logic, so I can take advantage of the Strand Weapon Surges, and also just kind of have a workhorse heavy weapon as well too. I would prefer definitely to see maybe a Strand Rocket coming in the next season. A Linear wouldn't even be bad. I know they're not in the greatest place now, but they're still viable. They're not bad weapons at all in the slightest. Maybe even another grenade launcher here in the future would be nice, maybe like next season too. We do have the one from the raid, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the rolls. But anyway guys, it's going to be the video here. If you guys enjoyed the content, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.